I hired him to move. I had to get out of the house by the next morning. And so I wound up paying him in full. When I looked in the truck, I noticed all the damages. A lot of things were destroyed.
Mind you, I'm insured, so if she did have an issue, there's nothing to do a claim about this.
What he's saying is inaccurate. He's a fraud.
Plaintiff Shawn Killian Morris claims the defendant damaged her furniture and lied about being insured. She's suing for $5,000. Defendant Jeremy Sanders says the moving job was rushed because the plaintiff was being evicted. He claims he owes nothing.
May you all please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, IG.
This is case number 154 on the docket. Killian Morris versus Sanders.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Let's see what we have here. We have the plaintiff, Shawn Killian Morris. You are suing the defendant, Jeremy Sanders, for $5,000 for moving services and damaged furniture. So let's start with you then, Shawn. What's your case?
It took me 4 jurisdictions to find him, and I'm just glad that you're able to hear this case. I hired him in January of 2020 to move. We had a very large move. I was moving a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom home, and it was between him and another large moving company, but I was more partial to him because he reminded me of my son. I wanted to give a small business a chance, and I took him through the house, I took him on the tour, and I asked him if he could handle the job because it was a lot. It was a lot of heavy furniture, and we were crunched for time. He assured me that he can handle the job, he had enough people to do the job, everything would be wrapped, everything would be safe, and he also ended, what really made me choose him is that he said he had insurance, and that if anything happened, he'd be able to produce the insurance document and anything would be taken care of. He told me his trucks weren't available at the time, and so I rented 2 26-foot U-Haul trucks. So his drivers and him met me that evening. We came to the home. We started packing up. After a few hours, he started wrapping up his guys. He told me it was getting late. He told me that I had to pay him in full, but that maybe if I looked on Craigslist, I can find somebody to continue to move. And I'm like, well, we agreed that you would do the move. I had to get out of the house by the next morning. And so I wound up paying him in full. Wound up paying him in full.
All right.
It was late at night, so two of my debit cards wouldn't go through. So I wound up paying him Cash App for one part of the payment, and then I paid him the rest on my credit card. Okay, so that was a total of $1,500.
First off, this ain't happened in January. This was last year. This is 2019. All right, I went to Miss Shawn's house to do a consultation. The consultation was actually done on a Thursday, and we actually scheduled the job to do it that following week. Shawn ended up calling me the very next day, frantic, saying that she had to be moved out as soon as possible because somebody put a note on her door or something like that saying she's finna get evicted the very next day. So she had to move. She had to be gone sooner than what we originally scheduled for back in Tuesday. So what ended up happening is, because it came so short notice, I didn't have none of my materials prepared. I had to come up with a crew short notice, had to come up with all the materials short notice. She had to provide the trucks herself because I couldn't do it because it was so short notice.
After that,
Okay, so you paid.
we were left with numerous items, okay? I had to get out by the morning. My daughter had a flight to catch. I'm looking around, I'm asking him, how am I gonna get all this stuff out the house? I had to wind up paying another moving company, $600 and change, to help me pack the truck and to get all my stuff out of there. He was supposed to come help the next day. They did not come. When I looked in the truck and saw how they packed the truck, that's when I noticed all the damages. So the mover that I hired actually repacked the truck that they packed and packed the second truck and got everything to the house, okay? Then one of his drivers came by. We had a long talk. The driver said, you know, before we do anything, you have to pay us because Jeremy hasn't paid us. I said, I paid Jeremy in full for the services. They said, no, he said to get the money from you. That was another conflict. The second conflict was when they got to the house, he told them they don't have to assemble anything. All they have to do is get the stuff off the truck. Well, everything was disassembled when they got there. They took everything apart from the first place. They were supposed to put everything back together the second place. They did not. Also, they lost all the hardware. So I had to go out, buy hardware for Home Depot. So this move took about a week. And my issue is a lot of things were destroyed, furniture was destroyed, important documents, my bachelor's degree, my mom's Quran. My mom is no longer with us. There were things in that truck that were irreplaceable. And the thing about it is, I contacted Jeremy. I was in constant communication with him. I have the text messages. I have all that. We were in constant communication. He even told me he was in the hospital with the flu. I was trying to give him home remedies. Like, I didn't have any anger towards him. I just wanted the move to be done, and I wanted it to be done correctly because I paid for it.
Jeremy, what about it?
And so then, once we go to the job, we get everything wrapped up as she wanted to. We actually end up staying there till we got there late that evening because we started at night. We got there around about 4 or 5 p.m., then leave to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So once we got the trucks loaded up, we got everything packed up, we finished the job, she paid me for it because of course it's done. When we did the unload, we didn't go directly to her new house. We had to stop somewhere else, make a detour for her friends, I don't know, wherever we stopped it at. We didn't go to her next house. So then what she ended up doing is having some family members or friends, whatever, whoever the other company that she said rearranged the items that was in the truck for her. My people end up coming back the following days, 2, 3 days straight, to finish unloading the trucks and putting things in her house. Not only that, I came back personally to oversee to make sure everything went good. I looked at everything was good. She had a few things mentioned. She did mention a few things that got messed up within the move, but then it was completely brushed off as like, all right, cool, don't worry about it. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Next time you have a crew, just make sure that they don't do the same thing the next go round or anything like that. I said, cool. I just took it as a friendly suggestion. All right, so cool. Mind you, this was almost a year ago. Here I am now, almost a year later, getting into a dispute about something that I had no idea about. Mind you, I'm insured. I am insured. So if she did have an issue, it's nothing to do a claim about this. Mind you, I have all of these reviews of plenty of clients that I've done jobs for multiple times.
Did you get the insurance papers to her so she can file for the insurance?
I don't have the actual certificate, but it's just a simple 800 number to call.
Yes,
it's just
go
a simple
ahead.
800 number to
Shawn.
call.
So what he's saying is inaccurate. It's a lie, basically. They did not pack 2 trucks. The job was not done.
You just said
when
you
they
rented
left,
2 trucks.
I rented 2 trucks. They did not pack 2 trucks. I have the pictures of what was left in the home when him and his crew pulled out. And the reason...
We only packed 1 truck.
Okay.
I'm just going to finish. Wait till he...
Okay.
Am I allowed to talk?
Go ahead. You can adjourn. Yes.
1 truck was packed. And the reason that we couldn't get everything to the block where I'm at now is because the driveway is so small and the block is so tight. So without those 2 trucks being packed, we went to a detour. That has nothing to do with the damages that were caused. Yes, it was a last-minute move. He's actually correct with that. It was last minute. We were supposed to do it the next week. I had to get out sooner. That has nothing to do with the damages. As far as him saying it was a friendly conversation, these are text messages. This is Exhibit E. This is our whole entire text history, Exhibit E, where I'm asking him for the certificate. I'm telling him about the damage. He came over my house and he took pictures with his phone of the damage, and he said he would come back and bring it to me. He spoke to my husband in great lengths, and my husband and I both asked him, can we please get the certificate or whatever? I never had to file a moving claim before, so I didn't know if it was a certificate or an 800 number, but it was far from a friendly conversation. And there's multiple damages.
I have 2 quick questions about that.
Sure.
Because it was the next day, which you're both admitting it was the next day, and he said he didn't have the bubble wrap or whatever the appropriate packaging is for the furniture. Was it put on the truck without it?
It was put on the truck without it, but here's the thing.
The furniture was wrapped up.
When I called, the furniture was not wrapped up. I have the pictures in the truck of how the furniture was wrapped. I have shots of how the stuff was actually thrown in the truck, wet, dirty, my mattress, my couches, my mirrors, no wrapping. There was 1 piece that was wrapped, and that's the piece that they dropped in front of me, an armoire, a stirrer that was antique. So
Yeah,
when
I'm not disputing it. I'm not disputing any of that. I understand that. When you saw, because it was the next morning, and he said,
it was actually a
I'll
few
do
mornings
what I
after.
or whatever, but because I had a rush, when he says, I don't yet have the appropriate materials, did you say, well, go ahead and pack it anyway? In other words, I guess what I'm saying is, and this isn't against your case, I'm just saying,
Right.
you knew that he would be putting this on without proper wrapping.
No, we never
He
had
never
that
told you
conversation.
that he didn't have.
I constantly asked him, especially because it was last minute, I constantly said throughout the whole thing, are you able to do this job? Because I had a larger a larger trucking company that could have come in,
Okay.
wrap it, did everything, they had insurance. I mean, they were
Okay. So
on the
you
up and up.
expected
we
that
never
there
had the
would be
conversation that he didn't
appropriate
have
wrapping.
Right, we never
Okay.
had that
All right.
conversation. I had a lot of wrapping myself, though. So what you see wrapped
Okay.
is my stuff.
Let me just hear from the witness for a moment. And what's the witness's name?
Isis Killian Morris.
Yes, and what would you like to add here?
So I saw when we had started the move, it was last minute, but I think it was handled very unprofessionally. I think the truck was packed ridiculous. I had to call a couple of my friends over to help us move stuff because he wasn't there at the end of the move. And we had all been up me and my mom had been up for almost 24 hours. I had a flight to catch in the morning. I was going to Puerto Rico with my friends for her 21st birthday. And so my flight was at 6, and we were up packing up until I left, like 3, 4 in the morning. And so my whole trip, I was worried about, did her stuff get thrown out before she moved out? Where was everything? And so when I came back, everything was just damaged. Things weren't assembled correctly. There were things missing. My brand new vanity that she had just bought me was already damaged, and I hadn't even put my clothes away. There were bed slats from under my bed that were missing and broken. It was just crazy.
Why did you guys have to move so quickly?
Because we were living in there. We had just moved down from New York. My daughter goes to Clark Atlanta University. And so when I sold my house in New York, I'm retired now, but I was retiring. I wanted to rent before I bought in Georgia because I didn't know the different areas. So we were renting. So we moved in there in August, and they didn't have any working utilities. And so after going back and forth, I was like, okay, it's time to move. And then, we got into a dispute with the landlord, and he told us we had to leave. And I just wanted to get all my stuff out before anything was damaged by the landlord. So it was a last-minute move. I had already planned on moving. I did call Jeremy and asked him to do it the following week, but we wound up having to do it sooner.
And then my question then for you, Jeremy, is if you have the insurance through all of this, why wouldn't you just contact us and say, hey, here's the insurance, it's covered?
Once we got everything done, it was just a simple conversation as, all right, cool. Like, all right, just like simple suggestions that she gave to my crew. Just make sure these certain things don't happen again, all this kind of stuff. If it was really that serious as she's making it seem to be, then it's nothing to do with an insurance claim. I have multiple customers that I do the exact same process with. All of these reviews, I've been in business for the last 3, 4 years. This is the first time this ever happened. And I know the process. This ain't nothing new.
That's not true.
So if it was that serious, I would have did that.
Did you ask, once the move was finished and then you were upset with it, at that point, or in the interim between then and now, did you say, can I contact the insurance company? And what did he say to you when you asked him?
I've been calling. I had been texting. Jeremy was nowhere near around the end of the move. I was dealing with his workers. They actually felt bad with everything that went on.
Did you text him to say, please give me the number of the insurance company?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. That's E. And he kept saying, I will, Miss Shawn. I will bring it. Because I kept asking. And I went over all the
what date was
in the
this?
text messages.
What item number is it? E what?
Oh, well, here's one that says, okay, I'll get them sent over by the end of the day. And I'm
What
like,
date
what do
is
you
that?
mean the end of the day? This is E24. I'm trying to find the date of the text.
Okay, I got E24. Okay, I'll get them sent over by the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a lot of requests. I mean, we went on with this way after the move had ended. I didn't see Jeremy at all towards the end of the move. He doesn't know how the move ended up because he was nowhere near around. His employees were nice enough to help me, but he
Okay.
doesn't know the end of the move. You know, he said he was in the ER with an IV.
And
He's a fraud because
Right.
his coworkers said, his employees said that he was out drinking with them all night. So I don't know how he was, I mean, it's
Okay.
just,
All
the
right.
whole thing, he's a fraud.
Jeremy, on this particular occasion, and even when I see the pictures of how the truck was loaded, et cetera, for whatever, a reasonable person would say, yeah, if that was my furniture and it was put into a truck like that without the appropriate wrapping, in other words, what would have been right for you to do, because I understand when you say, hey, all of a sudden I had to do this the next day or two or whatever, and we didn't yet have the materials, the appropriate response would have been, we can't do this then because I don't have the materials yet, and your furniture could get damaged. And in fact, the furniture was damaged. The good news is you have insurance. So I'm saying even on for your sake, why you're not using this insurance to help take care of this issue. Because she does have a case that when you hire a moving company, they have a right to expect that this furniture will get there undamaged, and if it is damaged, they should be compensated. If the insurance company would do it, that's great. But otherwise, she's got to get it from you. That's the price of doing business. Because honestly, her property was damaged, and the receipts are here. And it's hard for me to come up with an argument to say to her, too bad, particularly when you have insurance. Okay. Actually, I mean, I feel for all of you. I understand the situation you're in, but I think really the answer ultimately would have been the insurance. But anyway, I have to find for the plaintiff in her lawsuit for the sum of $5,000.
Thank you.
I'll never do business with her again.
I'm really happy because I could not find him. He had so many different aliases, so many different businesses. I originally found him on Thumbtack. He deleted his Thumbtack account, and I really did not think that I was going to be able to get any money for my damages or get anything. So I'm really grateful to Judge Jerry. I recommend for everyone to go with a legally bonded moving company that will protect your belongings.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.